Edifier is a brand I've been dying to review for many years, and very thankfully, I finally have a speaker on my tabletop to review. This is, of course, the Edifier D32, and I love that they've named it very aptly. It is called a tabletop speaker, and it does a very good job at doing so. Thank you to the folk at Edifier India for making this review possible by sending me this demo unit. All thoughts and opinions are my own, as always. So let's quickly jump into the unboxing and the build quality. When you unbox the speaker, you will get a whole bunch of literature letting you know exactly what the speaker is about and the details about it, including the app you need to get to operate it via your device. You do get a USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable, which is nice and long enough to be able to connect to your desktop or your laptop. You also do get a 3.5 mm to 3.5 mm auxiliary cable, which you can connect to a music player or your computer. And you do get the power cable as well. Now, the power cable isn't just for powering this. It does have a rechargeable battery within it. So you can charge this up. It doesn't take too long, maybe about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how empty the battery is, to fully charge up. And then moving on to the speaker, it is definitely a very nicely made speaker. This speaker does come in 3 different finishes. It comes in brown, it comes in black walnut, as well as white. So you can choose, of course, what will fit in your home or your tabletop the best before you choose to buy it. Now, I really do like the overall finish of this. It does come with some sort of a veneer, but it does have this nice fabric mesh around it. It's nicely finished, and it does have the Edifier logo on the top left, which is quite cool. You will see the Edifier brand name there, along with a high-res audio sticker on the right side, and it comes with these little tactile buttons. They're little sort of clicker rockers, so you do get the power on and off, the Bluetooth sync button, the play pause button, and you do get volume down and volume up as well. Now, the power button also works as cycling through different modes. You can cycle between the auxiliary, the AirPlay, Bluetooth, so it's easy to do it from the speaker itself. You don't necessarily have to play around with the app all of the time. And then when you swing this around, you do get a nice little holding section where you can grab onto it and carry it around with you, which is nice. This is definitely nicely been incorporated. It's easy to get a grip on it and not drop it. And then, of course, you will see the 2 bass reflex ports it has at the back, which is a huge benefit for especially people who want to place this to get a little more bass. And of course, down here you will see the power inlet to charge up the battery, the USB input, and the auxiliary input as well. Now, as much as I'd like to show you the drivers behind this grill, I don't think it's user removable, so I don't want to damage the speaker, but it does have a dynamic driver behind this for the mid frequencies and lower frequencies, and it does have 2 little Silk Dome tweeter drivers. So these definitely are tuned very well. I'll talk about that in the chapter about sound. It does give a good sound. I'll go into the detail pretty soon. And then what's cool is when you flip this over, you will see 4 little feet. Now, these are rubberized, so they do grip very well and do produce some form of isolation. Even if you're playing this louder, there's not too much of vibration that will get through, unless of course you play it extremely loud. Now, if you're worried about this fitting on your desk or not, I find this to fit very comfortably on the corner of my desk without an issue. This is about 10 inches wide by about 6.5 inches tall, and it's about 7 inches deep. So it does take a good amount of space. But one thing I will say is, if you do want a lot more bass or depth to come out of this, don't stick it slap bang against a wall. Let it breathe. Give it a few inches away from the wall and your bass will open up. Moving on to the features of this speaker. Well, you can use the Edifier X app, which I'll just throw up on the screen for you so you can see. Now, this app will of course show you the battery percentage of the speaker, and you can switch between your different input sources. So right now I am in the Bluetooth section. You can via your phone go to auxiliary, USB streaming, or AirPlay. You can also go into the sound effects option. You do have these different EQs you can play around with. Now, there are subtle differences between all of these, so it's best to spend time with and see which one you prefer. I found that when I customize my own EQ, you can go into the customize option and tweak things. You do get a plus minus 3 dB gain over here with a 6-band EQ, so you can play around with these different frequencies and find the sound that suits you best. But I find that the customized option I do usually sounds a lot like the dynamic tuning, and I do like how they've tuned the dynamic one in particular. So I stick with that. Then you also do get volume control that you can control down here, which is cool. And you also do get, well, nothing's playing right now, but you can control play, pause, next, previous via that as well. You do also have this settings option here, which is not clicking right now because my screen recorder is on. Let me just try and move that. Yeah, okay. So within this, you can play around with more details, do factory reset, and so on and so forth, which is quite cool. You do get multi-point connectivity. This also does have HD audio, which I've gone into the 96 kilohertz one, and I am running this on the LDAC codec, of course, because I do prefer higher quality. And it does have the nice sounding prompt tones and everything. So this is pretty much everything you can do with the app. Now, one thing I do like with this app is, one thing I realized was, I was playing around with the USB-C to USB, my computer to this. And when I did the USB-C to USB-C, I said, hey, you know, what's the point of the app? It's null and void, right? Once I do the USB stuff. Turns out it's not. I think this I noticed with the AirPlay as well. While on those two modes, I can still be connected to the speaker via the app. So I can still control the volume, I can still control the EQ, and I can still switch between the input sources. So it's cool that it gives you that option, because even if this is an easy listening speaker on your desk, even if it's in the corner, you don't have to keep reaching for it to do stuff. You can still control things via your app. So I think that's a very cool feature that they've incorporated. Moving on to the sound, this comes with two 1-inch silk dome tweeters that fire at about 15 watts each, and it also comes with a 4-inch mid to low driver that fires at about 30 watts. So this handles all the mid to lower frequencies particularly. And then the frequency response, this handles anywhere between 52 hertz all the way up to 40,000 hertz. And this is most likely only when you're doing the high-res stuff, especially if you're doing LDAC or playing it via USB to USB, or via AirPlay as well. Moving on to the volume, well, volume-wise, this speaker does get considerably loud, especially if you're looking at using it as a desktop speaker. It's a near-field speaker. I find this to get loud enough at about maybe 55 to 65%. It's loud enough there. I think if you start cranking it beyond maybe 75, 80%, it can start to sound a little uncomfortable. It's not too happy at that range. It's most comfortable and the most fun, I'd say, at about 50, 55% volume. Now, it does do very good stuff in the sense it does sound dynamic even at lower volume. So I found myself playing this at maybe even 35% volume, putting it in a corner of a large room, not just my studio, but it does have the tendency of being able to fill a room depending on how you place it. Placement is everything, whether you've got a tiny little portable speaker or if you've got tower speakers or whatever else. You are playing the room, you need to figure out how to do that. So yeah, volume wise, I find this to be more than loud enough. When it comes to its sound staging, there's not much it can do because it is technically mono. You've only got the one speaker, of course, but I will say that in size, by size I mean the volume of it, not in loudness, but the size of it, if you do get the placement right, a certain space away from the wall, and especially if it's in a corner, you can really utilize those bass reflex ports, because they do certainly help with contributing towards getting more of an enveloping sound. And you will see that difference if you put it against a flat wall or in the corner of a room against a corner. It will suddenly take on a very different sort of size. In fact, I did try some electronic dance music with this. It originally didn't sound very comfortable straight out of the box. I have been running the speaker for a while to let it sort of ease in, do the burn in and all over some time. So when I originally played EDM, it sounded a little too tight. It wasn't too comfortable with it. But just before doing this review, I have thrown some Daft Punk at it. And the minute you put it into a corner and give a good amount of breathing room, this thing is very comfortable. Now, no doubt, it's not going to give you some frequencies that are, down below 50 hertz, because that I think is its restriction. That little driver can only do so much, but it does give a very fun sound, no doubt. Moving on to the imaging. Well, imaging wise, I'd say it's a very good speaker in terms of giving you resolution and detail. But I'd say more so with when you use USB to USB, or if you use AirPlay. In fact, I did find a considerable jump in overall confidence out of the speaker when I used AirPlay and when I used the USB-C to USB-C cable. It's almost like when you're using Bluetooth, whether it's you're using the SPC, AAC or LDAC codecs. I mean, there is a jump with the LDAC, of course, with the detail, but compared to the USB-C to the AirPlay, all the wireless stuff seems a bit boring. It's almost like if you've ever connected an alright, okay-ish amplifier to very good speakers, the speakers are not going to sound very great. It's like they don't really call for a better amp, but at the same time you can tell that it's lacking. The minute you switch to the AirPlay or the USB-C to USB-C, it's almost like it's getting all the info it needs, and it's unlocking its proper potential with a more powerful amp. It's almost like it's two different speakers when you use the AirPlay or the USB-C. Auxiliary, of course, it will rely a lot on the device that you are pairing it with. Whether you give it an old iPod or if you give a high-res DAP with a good amp, it'll make a big difference. So yeah, I'd say if you're going wireless with this, go the AirPlay way, or just use the USB-C to USB-C to really unlock its full potential. These two methods don't only help with the overall imaging and detail, but they also help with the overall experience, because I found that once I do the USB-C listening or the AirPlay listening, this does become that much more immersive. It pulls you in that much more compared to the wireless route. When it comes to its overall frequency response, well, I will say that it's definitely got some sort of a Harman curve going on. There is definitely some sort of elevation in the highs and the lows with slightly recessed mids. But having said that, it does seem to have forward mid-range. The mid frequencies tend to be a little more pronounced than recessed. So I have played around with the manual EQ, which does make, you can set it the way you want to a certain extent, and it does respond pretty well to that EQ within the app, which I found quite impressive. No doubt it's only a plus minus 3 dB gain, but it's enough to get a good amount of control over the kind of sound that you're looking for. So the high frequencies, despite even trying to freak the speaker out, I've taken the EQ to plus 3 dB gain on the high frequencies just to see what happens. But this is the magic of a silk dome tweeter. No matter how much you boost it, it will never get so aggressive that it starts hurting your ears. So it's always a very soft delivery, but at the same time it gives you a terrific amount of detail and resolution. I think using a silk dome tweeter is kind of like a cheat code. You can get away with anything. It's able to give you a lot of detail, a lot of resolution without hurting the ear at all. So it's a very pleasant sound on the ear. The mid-range in particular, like I did mention, I found it to be a little forward. So for some vocals, depending on how the track has been mixed and mastered, it can sound a little in your face. It gets a little too intimate. But again, this varies depending on the kind of recording you're listening to. So the tracks I like, if they sound too forward, I just dial the mid-range down in the EQ and it's good to go. But I will say that the separation in instrumentation and vocalization with good recordings has good separation. If you do want to tune into those and listen to them and appreciate it, I don't think this will be as good as some of the monitors that Edifier has. Then again, this is not specifically for monitoring, but it is fun. It's more for music enjoyment than it is for monitoring. And then, of course, when you move over to the low frequencies, I will say, for a speaker this size is definitely restricted. It's definitely limited. There's only so much a box this size can do in terms of low frequencies and with a driver that size. But I will say, once you get the placement right, this speaker can sound considerably larger than what it is. Like I mentioned, if you have it flat up against a wall with no breathing space, you're not going to get much bass. You're going to get a lot of bass from the driver that's front facing. The advantage is when you let the speaker breathe, take it about maybe 4 or 5 inches, maybe even 6 inches away from a wall. And that plus, even if you throw it into a corner, it gets that much more space to breathe and give you that much more lower frequencies. Then again, like I mentioned, it will do very well, I think, down to maybe about 80 hertz. I think it's 80 to 100 hertz. It's very confident there, but any frequencies below 80 hertz, it will tend to struggle a bit. It will not give you that punch and kick, which is why I'd say it's not really for EDM. It's for more natural sounding instruments. So music that I have thrown at it, well, Jeff Goldblum recently came out with a new album on the 5th or the 6th of June, and I've been going through that album with this speaker, and it's been an absolute joy. A whole bunch of natural instruments are in that. He plays along with an orchestra, it does it beautifully. I'm not saying that this is the truest sounding speaker out there. The timbre from this gets close to being pretty true, but it's not, the ultimate in the sense of realism, but it's still a lot of fun. So whether you're talking about your horns, your reeded instruments, your strings, vocals, everything does come through with a sense of trueness that's really enjoyable. Upright basses, lower frequencies from these instruments, This is where the speaker really shines. This is where it's really comfortable with instrumentation, instrumental music, vocal stuff. The minute you start throwing unnatural sounds at it, like EDM and so on, it's not the most comfortable. It'll do it, but it is not the most comfortable. So to sum up, I think this is a fantastic little speaker. It's a nice size. It's fairly easy to carry around, put across your house in different places, different corners. And I love that it's cordless. You can just charge it up and take it wherever you want. Now, one thing I will mention, Edifier does mention that you can get up to 11 hours of listening time on this. And one thing I will say is that you might get 11 hours from this if you listen to this at maybe 50% volume through and through. So when the battery is new, you should get 11 hours. But I will say that I have gotten way more than 11 hours of listening time on this, because I've been listening to this at maybe 25-30% volume, and it just sits in one of my rooms and it plays through the day. And the thing is, like I mentioned, a lot of brands do these testings at 50% volume. The minute you start saying 20%, 25%, 30% volume, if you're listening to it at that consistently, I'd say you'll get 15, 18 hours, maybe even more of listening time. So that is something to keep in mind. So it's pretty convenient on a battery front. Looks wise, I think this is something that some people might ask you, what's going on over there? Because it's definitely a very nice looking speaker. It does have this retro kind of look to it, and you do get different colors you can choose, no doubt. But what I do like about this is the sound. This is the first time I've tested an Edifier product. And I must say that I really do like how it's tuned. It's not tuned to impress you. There are some brands that tend to crank up high frequencies to hell and high water, because a lot of people will get a sense of clarity from boosted highs. They've not done that here. It's very tastefully tuned. It's controlled in a manner where it gives you the detail it has to. It gives you the resolution while giving you the energy that you need to listen to when it comes to certain kinds of music. The bass as well. Well, it's not. They've not tried to overdo it. So because they've not tried to overdo it, the bass is not coughing at you. There are some speakers that have smaller drivers and try to push out more bass than they can, and they tend to cough when those frequencies are played out. This doesn't struggle. This is a speaker that knows what it's about, and it gives you that tone and sound in a very confident manner. And I would say if you do have the budget for this, it's a very nice sounding speaker to have. Easy listening music throughout the day in your home or in your studio, in your office. It's definitely a fun little speaker with great sound. So if you do want to buy this, this does have an MRP of about, let me just tell you, 24,990. Now that is a high MRP, I will say, but honestly, for the build quality you get for this, it's pretty good. But the good news is it is not being sold at MRP. It is being sold at 17,990 rupees right now, and I will leave the link down below to the kind folk at the audio store. They have also been kind of responsible for organizing this review, and I am grateful to them for doing this. So if you do want to buy this, I would recommend going through them. I will leave the link down below, of course. And yeah, I mean, terrific little speaker. It makes a lot of sense to go for this, especially if you want to pick up something set and forget. This is exactly that speaker. So anyway, there you have it. That's my review on the Edifier D32, and I do hope that this review has given you a better understanding for this speaker, and I do hope that I've helped you make some sort of purchase decision. If you would like to help support the channel, I'm sure you know exactly how to. But of course, thank you for tuning in for some sound advice.